Welcome back to Ask Allison. Here's today's question. Any good book recommendations or resources on boundaries for therapists? I feel like I prioritize work all the time. I schedule clients at times I don't want to work. This question's awesome. First, I want to thank TherapyNotes for sponsoring Ask Allison. They are the #1 rated electronic health record system available today with live telephone support 7 days a week. It's clear why TherapyNotes is rated 4.9 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot and has a 5-star rating on Google. TherapyNotes makes billing, scheduling, note-taking, and telehealth incredibly easy. And you prescribers out there, yes, they also have e-prescribe. If you're coming from another EHR, they make that transition incredibly easy, importing your demographic data free of charge so you can get going right away. Find out what more than 100,000 mental health professionals already know. Use promo code ABUNDANT at therapynotes.com for 2 free months. So I feel like we have a lot of information and knowledge about boundaries as therapists. And I don't know how much a book is going to create impact versus just giving you more information and knowledge. The books that have helped me the most aren't directly about boundaries, but have made me think about them differently. So ultimately, I think having models for healthy boundaries, like seriously find a boundary role model and watch how they do it, and practicing implementing boundaries in your own life, even though it's uncomfortable, that moves the needle much more than reading anything. I'll say Untamed by Glennon Doyle, while not directly about boundaries, helped me think through the boundaries I have continuously not held because I wanted to please other people and make them comfortable. It's a great book for those of us who are trying to recover from people pleasing. Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. It's helpful because we're so much more likely to roll on our boundaries if we're burned out. These last few years, I feel like has rocked us, and I fully believe we have stored up stress and trauma that we need to work through. And I love their science-based approach that they bring that's also like super readable and also easy to implement. Present Over Perfect by Shauna Nyquist is my favorite self-help book. I've read it several times, and every time I do, I get something new out of it. Be aware that it slants Christian. I'm not Christian, but I also don't have any baggage around Christianity or church, so I can read it and still apply the vast majority of it. If you have any trauma related to religion, it may not land for you. But this book is more about workaholism and perfectionism. And for me, that meant like basically reprioritizing my very rigid boundaries that protected work over everything else. We talk a lot about boundaries specific to therapy practices in all of our programs. Everyone in our programs has access to a course called Build the Right Practice and a course called Private Practice Life Balance, where we speak explicitly about boundaries for therapists. Our program for full therapists, Limitless Practice, and our program for people growing their practice, Party Plus, both include individual and group consultation, and we talk people through this all the time. It's such a common struggle. Because most of us are temperamentally, we're givers, we're caretakers, and we ended up learning boundaries later on. So it's still not as easy for us to say no as it is to say yes. I'll link to these programs for you as well as our free worksheet called You Can Have What You Want. Sometimes we have to go back to the basics and determine what we want before we can stand strong with our boundaries. So fill out this free worksheet with your gut reaction answers, not your cautious people-pleasing answers, and see what it brings up for you. I hope that helps. If you have questions for Ask Allison, then hit the link in our bio and there's a spot for you to put those in. Have a really great day.